And there's Gabe. It's labeled as.
Hi there.
Hi, Gabe.
We're gonna put you up on the big screen when Becky lets me in. There you are. Recording and progress. Oops. And then pops you up on the other screen. All right. Right. All right, are we all set? Yes.
Yeah.
So we shall call the Shutesbury.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Raise your hand if you guys can hear us. It helps if the owl is in the. Okay, let's try that again. I'm sorry, I didn't have the owl attached. Give me 1 second. Now can everybody hear me?
Oh, boy.
No?
Yeah,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll try this over again.
All right, it disconnected all my stuff. Sorry. The start and stop on set all my.
The Shutesbury Selectboard meeting for November 6th, 2024 to order. And our agenda today is discuss the special town meeting and then go into a working session to meet with the review transition lists and with the outgoing town administrator. Was there anything that was not anticipated before the meeting at all? All right, so let's go to discussing the rescheduling of the special town meeting.
So Grace, how much lead time do you need? I mean, we need to have a meeting with the finance committee, right? And then Grace, how much lead time do you need?
So the special town meeting, the warrant needs to be posted for a special town meeting before 14 days before the special town meeting. I don't know when in the coming weeks Paul and the school gym are available. So that needs to be figured out first.
Okay.
I am going to be out of town from the 20th to the 23rd for a town clerk conference. My thinking is the earliest we could do special town meeting is the 26th of November. That would mean we'd need to post the warrant, I'm gonna say the 11th at the latest. Before we can commit to that date, it needs to be confirmed whether or not Paul and the school gym are available.
And the 11th is a holiday and it wouldn't count.
Oh, well, then we need to post it by Friday, which makes things more complicated.
Yeah, that's not happening.
We could do it on a Wednesday. If we did it on the 27th on a Wednesday, then we would skip the holiday and we'd have to post by the 12th.
Night before Thanksgiving, I don't think that's good. I think we should go to the first week in December.
Okay.
Like
Has anyone, so because of the community, the CPC motion involving the high school, I believe the other towns are waiting on us. Does anyone know how that would impact them? Do we have a November date for any of the articles here?
I spoke with Mateo about the timeline that David Zomack gave him, and he said by the end of the year.
Okay, so then we're totally good for the first week of December. Thank goodness. I love that. That gives me a minute to catch my breath.
Good.
I'm gonna text or email Paul Lyons now, just in, you know.
Yeah, are we still looking at Tuesdays? So December 3rd?
That's one of our regular meetings, so we already have it on our calendar.
Yeah. Yes, I think that would be.
All right,
that
let
should-
me just count. All right, so if we had special town meeting on the 3rd, 1, 2. Then we would need to post the warrant on the 18th.
Okay,
And that gives us plenty of time to check in with Paul and the school.
so it would have to be November 18th.
So we're talking about the Tuesday, December 4th.
December 3rd.
December third.
Yeah,
Third, I'm
December
sorry.
3rd.
Available. Okay.
Are we gonna do it again at the 6 o'clock time like we did the other one?
Okay. Grace, do you typically check with the school, or do you want one of us to do that, or?
Typically, the town administrator does it, so you guys should do it.
Okay.
And you need to fill out a form.
Okay.
I
can-
always call them first to verify,
Okay, I can call Ann.
Yep.
Yeah,
and she'll hand it off to Laura,
okay,
and, because Laura's the one that checks all the conflicts in use of the gym.
okay. Do we get priority over, like, I know they're playing.
Yeah, pickleball
pickleball.
is on Tuesday nights, so they were moved
Oh, okay.
for the 19th, so I imagine they'll do the same.
And did you notify them that we're not doing it on the 19th?
I have not.
Okay, I can tell her then. Okay. Cancel the 19th and Tuesday, December 3rd. Okay.
So that means we have to put the warrant on our meeting for the 12th of November, or have another meeting to approve it, since we have to post it by the 18th.
You can't approve it until the
Finance
FinCom
guy.
does.
No, that I understand, but we need to make sure we have a meeting so we can approve it.
Susie's here, we can find out their next meeting date.
Our next meeting date is the 12th of November.
Oh, that's ours is the same day.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay, so what time do you typically meet, Susie?
6:30.
6:30? Okay, so if we were to set you guys up with the select board at 6 o'clock, would that work? To have a joint select board finance committee at 6?
Like we did on Monday? Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that works.
And then they go off to their other meeting.
And what's
we-
the agenda for us on that joint meeting?
have to be reposted. They'll have to repost for 6 o'clock. They're posted for 6:30.
I see.
So they would
Okay.
have to repost to do that.
Could we just meet with them at 6:30 then? Can we?
Pop in.
Yeah, can we, yeah, we'll ask if we can come into your meeting at 6:30 on the 12th to, the only agenda item, Susie, is the review of the library article for the special town meeting warrant.
All right, I'll let AJ know and he can put it on the agenda and he'll let you know if there's a problem.
Okay, all right. So we'll plan on 6:30 on the 12th with FinCom. To join FinCom.
And we have our meeting scheduled, I think,
Yeah,
for
we-
5 PM to start at 5 that day.
On the 12th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, 5 PM start.
That's correct.
Yeah, I brought this calendar so I could like look at the whole mess at one time. Okay, all right, so that, and I emailed Paul, I will call Ann in the morning and check on, I'll cancel the 19th and check on Tuesday, December 3rd at 6 o'clock. So say like 6 PM to 8 PM, probably, yeah. Okay, and then we have the finance committee set. Susie will get that confirmed. And is that it? That's it
I
for
think
that?
I think
Okay.
that's it for that agenda.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So we'll move on. Thank you, Grace, and
Yes.
thank you. Susie,
Thank
too.
you and good night.
Okay,
Good night. Get some rest. So moving on to the next agenda item was having a working meeting to review transition lists with the outgoing town administrator. So that is what we'll move on to now.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Did we have a format we wanted to?
Didn't get all those. So here's the,
Can you email that to
Yeah.
Gabe? Yeah, great. Thank you.
I'm gonna just grab one. This one, copies are still up there. I'm gonna grab that. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. Gabe, you have the transition document from Becky?
Did she email it to me just now?
She said she emailed it to you. I don't know. She left the room, so.
Let me check my emails. Not yet.
No? Okay. Do you have Gabe's email?
Yeah.
So Gabe didn't get it.
I haven't
Are you
sent
se-
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. She
Yeah,
hasn't
I
sent
just
it
went
yet.
upstairs.
Oh, okay. Great, thanks. Oh, that's fine.
Be careful to use Gabe's Outlook.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you using the New Salem Treasurer one? Because the old Outlook doesn't work anymore, the GH Volker at Outlook.
Here it is. It's this, and use that. When I typed, I forgot the E, so just make sure you.
So it's a Gmail account?
Yeah.
Okay. No, how did you get the link then, Gabe?
I went on your website and got it from there because
Good job. I sent it to you twice, at least I tried.
yeah, it's GH Volker at 78@gmail.com.
Yeah, and your name was spelled wrong there, right?
It's VOEL.
Yeah,
KER.
that's what
Yeah.
I know that one.
You
but
know that one, right?
I was like, wait a minute.
I had typed it wrong on my first
Okay.
time around.
Disappear. 70. here.
I got it.
Okay.
So how do we want to do this? Just go down the list of
Yeah.
all these things
You
there?
want to do departmental stuff then and project second?
Sure, that works. However we want to do it, I didn't have a plan,
Okay.
as you know, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing
Okay.
departmental stuff first, Eric. is that-
Yeah, whatever, no, whatever's good, yep.
And that is, so, personnel. Becky, can you walk us through the?
Sure, I'm not, when you start with departments, did you want me to start? That's,
Yeah, just from the top,
Yeah.
kind of where you were. You know, you did
Okay.
like personnel, yeah.
okay, so, you all are aware, I was trying to make it sure it explained to Gabe too. You
Mhm.
guys have a body of knowledge,
Right,
to start with.
yep.
So the 3 recent hires are, will need special attention. Gabe, we have a new highway superintendent that started a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a new administrative secretary who will be assisting you, Abby Hernandez, and she should be back full-time on Monday. She's had a few bumps. She was out this week on vacation and had some medical issues she'll be resolving.
So Becky, when you say extra support, is there anything in particular for each one of them or that you could identify now?
I think for Abby, that extra support is gonna, with the PFAS,
Mhm.
because with her not being back the week before or on Monday, I did not have a chance to go over all the letters with her, and how to prepare them, and so I wanna make sure she knows that.
Are there
somehow.
copies available so she can follow what's been done prior?
She can, but there are subtle differences in the 3 different letters, and you have to know about poets, and you have to know if the person has a poet or doesn't have a poet, and what the new test means. So it takes a little bit to get comfortable sorting out the letters. But she can, I was speaking with Jeffrey Arps. He would like to, if possible, have me introduce Gabe to him and go over some of the framework of where we are with her on Thursday afternoon when she comes in. She'll be coming in from 3 to 5 on Thursday.
Would it make sense to have one of us there too? Gabe, does that
I
make
would-
any sense?
I would think so because you're asking the blind to lead the blind. Becky, do you have the letters sampled out? Because I don't know how to create a letter. You have the historic knowledge.
And they're set up, most of the letters are set up in files in the top drawer of the filing cabinet
Well, what are the letters for? Like,
to
what-
inform the public about the test results.
Okay, so we're still getting test results in?
Yes,
Okay.
we can always be getting test results, because of the
Oh, so
ongoing
this is the
testing.
so people who already have the filtration systems, or is
We
this
have
new
to
people?
test everyone. We have to test people that have, everyone that is in the zone has to get tested.
Okay. All
So is
right.
there a list, is there a listing of all the people, Becky?
Yes, there's a total of approximately 72 households, but they all are in different categories. We also are moving from quarterly testing into twice a year testing, which is a big help.
Yeah.
So there won't be,
You have a spreadsheet on the results of each household? How do you know which household had what test results?
and there is regular reporting by, we work with Ty and Bond, and Jeffrey Arps, the person who's going to speak with you, is our LSP on this project, and he has, we have documentation of all the tests that have been taken and all the houses and all the results over time. And then we have individual files for each household that the admin secretary has been maintaining.
So I think 2 hours on Thursday for me to have a valid discussion with him is not enough time. Because you're gonna need to give me all your passwords, your keys, all the general stuff. And I know that 2 hours is not enough time.
Okay,
I would rather make an appointment with him Tuesday when I come in on the 12th. I can call him myself directly if you give me his phone number.
okay, that's fine, it's on the contact sheet.
Okay, and you, okay,
That-
And there's electronic files of those letters, so that Gabe can either make a sample for Abby, or Abby can, you know, without retyping all of that, there's electronic files of all of them.
Yes, there are, but it's,
So maybe if Gabe at least looked at the spreadsheet and
Yep.
sort of saw what it says. So does it say like when people need to get letters?
you have to do it when the lab results
Oh, I
come
see.
in.
Okay.
so there's no deadline.
It's a schedule for lab tests, isn't there?
We just got a big dump of lab tests, that's why the letters need to be done.
I see, okay.
Okay, I get it.
Yep.
And where are the electronic copies of those letters? Where are
They're mostly on Abby's
they?
computer.
Okay.
Okay,
No, I was only proposing that you meet him, so you know who he is, and just had a couple questions. He asked to meet you, but if
He
you
can-
don't want to
he
do
can-
that, that's
yeah,
fine.
no, I don't mind meeting him, but what I'm afraid of is we're
Is-
gonna get into a conversation and chew up precious time that I want to spend with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so you could set something for Tuesday, and then if you let us know, Eric or I could probably make it on Tuesday, Eric? Tuesday is
I think so.
Tuesday's the 12th.
Okay,
Looking at the calendar.
Okay,
I think so.
all right,
Yeah,
I think I
Tuesday's the
can do
12th.
it.
Shouldn't be a problem.
All right, well, so either one of us.
Yeah, right.
All right, we can figure that out. Okay, I know I got us sidelined there. And then Dave, Dave Grenier, how's he doing?
Very well.
Good, so does he know the paperwork stuff?
He is learning it, trial by fire. So we had a situation where with Steve leaving and Dave starting, I mean, during that time, where the Chapter 90 project, the paving project we just did, there's the paperwork to request to do the project was not turned in.
Mm.
And the reason that it wasn't as obvious is in July, they moved to a new system at DOT that's called Grant Central, and everything is now done online. This could have been a very serious problem. We called DOT, our District 2 rep came out to talk with us immediately. He explained the severity of the issue, that potentially, since the paving is done, the town could have had to pay and not gotten any reimbursement through Chapter 90. Because of the extraordinary situation with the timing of the highway superintendent, the old one leaving and the new one starting, Chris Bouchard was extremely understanding. He assisted us I wrote a letter to the director of District 2 at DOT and explained the problem. She graciously is allowing us one time to correct the issue. And I talked with Chris. I had hoped to help Dave learn the new Grant Central system, because Chris taught me about 6 weeks ago when I input the final on the municipal grant project. But Chris is coming out, I believe, tomorrow to assist Dave in putting in the paperwork on the Grand Central and put in our check numbers and all the stuff they're going to require. But Dave, have you used the new Grand Central?
I have not. I know that the new highway boss here is learning it, and I know that Colin Clay in Orange used it for a while, has been using it for a while. So, and I know Chris Richard, so.
Yeah, no, he's been really, really helpful. So Dave's on track with that. I checked in with him about that today, and that's getting wrapped up. And he's also, Chris will be giving him a tutorial on how to put in future.
So are they backdating everything? Because the invoices have to be dated after the approval. Are they backdating everything? Do you know that?
The invoices have to be dated
After the approval, or they won't pay. Are you aware of that?
No, but Chris was going to work directly with Dave on that.
Because we signed off, didn't this last warrant have the money for the paving? For the,
Yeah, it's been paid. We
It's been
have
paid.
check numbers.
Oh, boy. Okay.
You
Right.
think we should have held it, Gabe?
I'm concerned the application has to be backdated. You cannot pay an invoice before the approval. So your paperwork has to be dated prior to the payment.
question is
I
whether
don't
or
know.
not.
I don't know how Chris is going to fix that. He may have access to the Mass DOT system to override things. I'm not sure.
He did say he could see things that I couldn't see. Because when I was
Oh.
trying to get information on our application.
But when you talk to him tomorrow, ask him about that.
Okay. I'm not going to talk to him tomorrow.
Oh, I thought, okay. I thought he was,
He
okay,
did.
I get it. All right.
I'll try to text Dave and have him bring it up.
Sure, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, before approval. It has to be after.
And to add in, just to answer the question, what Dave might need, he's getting himself up online with technology and stuff too, so there may be a little bit of tech questions. He does have my cell phone number, and I've shown him a couple of things when I've been down at the highway barn, and I know Devin has showed him a few things too, so he does have resources there, but there might be a tech thing here or there for him.
But gets more stars than the prior two highway superintendents so far.
Yeah, getting the,
So he's figuring stuff out.
Yeah, it's just
Adding a
some
camera
of
when
it's
he
new to
needs
him,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
okay, good.
Okay. And budget next.
And as far as Mateo goes,
Yeah.
he is working, he's getting a lot of questions answered through Beth
Mm-hmm.
and learning a lot. So I think
Mhm.
he's in good shape, but it's always nice if you check in on him and make sure there's not a question that has come up more
Okay.
recently. We had a busy first few weeks with tons of questions, so I think he's gotten through the bulk of it.
And one thing, just while we're talking about personnel, is it possible to have a master schedule of what everybody's, or maybe that's something Gabe will work on, of like when people work, you know, what their hours are,
That's a
and
great idea.
both in town hall
And remote.
and then remotely,
That's a
yeah.
great idea.
What's the Google Calendar?
That's a Google
We can put it on
Calendar, but
Google,
yeah, and,
Right.
and Abby's gonna set that up. But even just, you know, starting out with kind of a list that you could look at too, just saying, like,
Who's here?
Mateo has fixed hours, right? Like he's in
10 to
the,
noon, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so I guess that goes for everybody. Is the highway department still working 4 days a week?
They were
No,
starting Fridays.
daylight savings, they
Right,
changed
okay, they
back to
changed
5.
back to, okay. Yeah, so just like that kind of stuff would be really
And when
useful.
Lenny's here,
Yep,
Kristen's a little bit more, she fills in where the officers aren't, but yeah.
So that's a good idea to make up that list, so
Yeah.
that's a list we can get.
well, it's so, yeah, so, you know, especially Gabe
Right.
has it, she's only in a couple of days a week, and then if we're gonna,
Yep.
we're gonna cover sometime too. We could add that to that list. Okay, all good. So we need a list schedule. Of work times for employees. Okay, yep,
All right, shall we move on to budget?
yeah.
Next.
Okay, so, the FinCom got out their budget requests, in end of September, early October. They set a date of November 1st to have budgets in. I've received, I think, 6 to 8 budgets. So there's still more outstanding. Not a lot, because the schools, we never get till late. Highway, this is Dave's first budget. He has met with Bob and to review, Bob is the liaison to the highway department. All the
Bob
departments
Groves.
have a finance
Yeah.
committee liaison. So Bob Groves has met with Dave. Dave has been asking good questions and been calculating, you know, different amounts of materials and costs to back up his numbers. It was a question mark whether he'd be ready for this meeting, I believe. Yeah, finance, I think highway was supposed to, budget was to be reviewed on this coming Tuesday. He's going to do his best for the first round and then go from there.
And I
All-
assume the school committee's working on the elementary school budget, so,
I talked to Caitlin, the finance director at the elementary school. She was through the building last week. She said she's just starting the budget process for the union. And, but she's saying, she told me closing out Shutesbury, they have closed out Shutesbury and it was in good shape. So, and they are just starting the budgets.
Do you have a spreadsheet that you list everything on, Becky, when you get the budget?
With the departments,
Yeah.
a list of the budgets I'm receiving, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
You
I
enter
have
them.
it in the workbook with the budget,
So is your workbook on your computer?
yes.
Can you forward that to me so I can see it? Because I don't have an Apple computer.
Right.
Gabe, it's, if anything you can't read when you have you can upload it into Google Docs and download it so that it'll convert it to Excel for you rather than Pages or the version of Apple. Yeah,
So
we can
Google
help.
I don't work with Google, I work with Outlook. So Google will be a bit of a learning curve. So I may need your help, Melissa, if I have issues
Yeah.
doing that. It sounds
Yeah.
simple. It sounds, but
Yeah,
But
it is, but
it messes with the formatting.
that's what
So
I'm
it
afraid
can be
of.
challenging. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Google Docs I have found, I have to keep my documents separately to be sure I have, a virgin document that hasn't been, messed up by Google.
She's going into Excel, so it should hold everything that goes out. It's the Apple to Google that causes that, but when it comes down to Excel usually
Will correct itself.
refix the format, yeah. But the Excel itself will, usually. I'll work with you, Gabe, on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got department budgets. Is the town hall budget in there?
The town hall budget is, we just run the maintenance accounts, they're all part of the budget.
Right, so you enter those, right? Because you're the TA?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Is that done? Is the town hall budget done?
We're just
Or
starting the
proposed.
budget season. No,
Yeah.
I haven't redone the town.
Okay.
I mean, we have, maintenance lines and things that are the biggest problem
Yeah.
in town hall because of our elevator escapades and the heaters breaking and
Okay.
plumbing.
Okay.
Gabe, I can talk to you about it maybe tomorrow too, but
Sure.
the other issue is potentially we could, back up what I'm using and you could just open it in a PC and then you could be much more comfortable. Because the
Right.
Excel file can be on PC or on an Apple. But we do,
I
Gail, what?
Should I bring a key tomorrow? A USB drive?
Sure, I don't see why not.
Yeah, yeah, put on the USB drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't need it being put on a PC, you're just gonna take it and put it on your own computer?
I will for now. I don't have a
Yep.
choice. I have to operate, right? They're getting me a,
Well, what I was trying to tell you, Gabe, is there is a PC that I bought for Gail, and she has never really used it. I believe Vadar might be on it, but I'll double check. But we could use that computer to set you up with, so it would be you could put all your Shutesbury stuff on there, instead of using the Apple.
okay.
Something to think about. Okay. So Gabe, the timing on the budgets in town we usually don't see a rough draft of the school budget until end of December, January. And January is usually when we see the regional budget. This year, we have major funding problems with the regional budget. We already had a meeting in September of the 4 towns. We have a brand new superintendent at the region. So there's a lot of changes happening there, but there's a lot of people involved in the budget that will be supporting.
And at that point, they were talking about a $2 million deficit, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. In the regional school budget.
Out of an $8 million budget.
Yeah, big.
We met earlier than we usually do, Gabe, on that particular.
Okay, no problem.
late December or something, so.
Mhm.
And the biggest issue the town has for the regional budget has had traditionally is we have proposed an alternative method. The traditional method for the Amherst region is that everyone pays an equal amount per pupil with a 5-year rolling average. But after 12 years of lobbying, we finally got the region to transition to using the statutory formula. And the statutory formula has always been, meant that the low income factors Shutesbury has were honored. And it's a great disparity. It has been over time between using the state budget, the state aid figures. Shutesbury is much less wealthy than our neighbors in Amherst, Pelham, and Leverett. So we have worked hard to hold on to that alternative method because it dramatically impacts our assessment and it honors the low-income people in town. So you'll hear a lot of discussion about that if you talk with the finance committee at all. That is something that they work as sensitively and firmly as they can. Last year, it was off the table, the alternative method was off the table, and that's why the town needs to really focus in on it this year. Other budget concerns haven't surfaced yet for us. Last year we had a new out-of-school placement that we put into the budget for this year, but it's, it really stressed the school's ability, and the finance committee is helping pay for that, or did help last year to pay for that.
And as the capital planning committee hasn't met yet, have they?
They have not met yet.
So they put out, and Ellen is the chair of the capital planning committee, so they put out a bulletin to all the department heads about capital needs. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So their request, they usually do it about now. With Ellen out on vacation the last couple of weeks, I hadn't been able to set up a meeting.
So you were setting up the meetings for them?
With them, yeah.
Okay.
Ellen will be setting up this meeting.
Okay. Any other big surprises, do you think, for this year in terms of the budget? Like really big capital items?
Capital?
Budget busters?
The grader is an ever-recurring subject with the highway department. There's last year Steve got a quote to repair the grader, and this year Dave has gotten a new quote, which is twice as much as the ones he got last year to repair it, and it's about $16,000. Last year was $8,000. A new grader, I don't know, Dave is researching the cost of a new grader and trying to find out if there's any other alternatives. We heard about one town that had like 2 or 3 graders that hadn't been used, so only one of them is being used regularly. So looking at the potential of either potentially leasing or buying a used one. We bought that grader originally used 30 years ago. So I think
And it certainly has gotten a lot of work.
Yes. And Dave's gotten excellent training on the new grader. So that'll be good. But outside of the grader, I don't know if the police are going to ask for anything major. They've got the new pickup truck for the chief. So there'll be a new vehicle coming in, probably in '25, a new pickup truck for our police chief from last year's town meeting. She also.
What happens to that other vehicle?
They do a shift.
Oh, okay.
The oldest one will be decommissioned.
The 2016 hopefully will be used as a trade-in. It's just been running up the, the
Repair bills.
repair bills. It's not good.
Okay. I think I'm good on the budget.
Yep. The finance team.
I really didn't have to point this out, Gabe. Our finance team is excellent, thanks to, in part to you, or in great part to you.
And the tax title work, does David Burgess oversee that, or do we
No,
outsource that?
tax title is not assessing. Tax title is the treasurer.
Oh, it's a treasurer.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
function of collections.
Yeah, okay, I forgot, okay.
And there seems to be a lot of new emerging activity there, Gabe.
There's huge new changes to the laws. So that's where I was all day in Rentham today, was going over the changes in the laws. We can't put anything in tax title right now till the state reviews what they put a new law in place, 62A, that is very confusing.
Yeah. That's the one about, like, you can't take more money than the property's worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but there's a whole bunch of issues that are popping up. They won't we won't go into it here because I just spent 4 hours listening to it, so.
Right.
Okay, sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to support Ryan when there's something that can happen, which probably won't be while you're here.
You probably went to the training.
He was with the training with me. He came to the training with me, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so, technology.
And that one is just, there's more I need to add there. I just started with the MLP just because, I know Gabe is familiar with the MLP, but just to know, for her to know what they are involved in. So they've got the digital equity money coming in, so they'll have some conversations as a board and then bring it to the select board at some point to get their feedback on how they want to use the money. And then they'll continue on with their program and spend the money.
Mhm.
So my question about technology would be more one of when there are problems, who's the point person on technology stuff in the town hall now? Or do we use somebody from outside?
We use Hank Allen, and I have this on the,
This sheet?
no, I have another whole Rolodex spreadsheet, but I will
Okay.
put him on there.
Okay. And is he local?
He used to be local. He now often works remotely with us. And then if there's some physical thing, we have a second backup person that I've only had to use once 2 years ago.
So he remotes in?
Yes.
Hank does.
Hank remotes
Okay.
in much of the time, but he's around, for 2-week stretches here and there that, if there's something that we can schedule, we'll schedule it with him when he's there. Or else we'll schedule with the second person that he's been working with that'll do the work for us instead.
And does he charge by the hour, or how
Yes.
does he charge us? Okay.
$35 an hour. He gives us an incredible discount.
He's not in Amherst anymore.
No. He's by the ocean. He has a better view now.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
I guess the only other in technology is does everybody have the equipment that they need, or we?
Ellen needs a new computer that I am hoping to get ordered before Friday. I went to order it, but it wasn't available anymore, so I had to check with Hank and get new specs, so.
Okay,
I'll make sure
so
to get
if that order doesn't go in, that will be something that will need to be taken care of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there'll be an email from Hank saying exactly what to purchase.
Okay.
Well, the other question I have about technology is just Zoom. Like, how's that? Is that?
Oh, that's an email that I found. I did the research on it. I found the Zoom business for 10 to 250 licenses. For 10, it's $2,199 per year. Each license is able to sign in or be an alternate for any one of the others, and has full access to start a meeting and all of that. So, and they have up to 30 hours per meeting of time per license. So,
And 300 people.
300 people
I
per
looked at it
person.
too, I
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
at it.
300 people per
Meeting.
meeting. And I think we won't necessarily exceed that unless
No.
the state starts to require Zoom for town
Town
meetings.
meetings.
And then you can buy more space if you want to, or more people space if you want to. So that's something we probably should look into. We're paying more now per year than that gives than the business.
Well, my question is like, so how will let's say the finance meeting, how will they post a meeting?
So
How will they get a meeting
operate a
posted?
meeting? Okay, so they post meetings on the website. They will be able to go, they will have a license given to FinCom@Shutesbury.org. That license would allow them to schedule a meeting, handle a meeting in all ways as an administrator to that meeting. So that no one else has to touch it. They can do it all themselves. Put it into the town calendar, the Zoom link. They could schedule their meetings out for a full year in Zoom and have all of the links set up. So they have their own ability to do that. Select board would have our own ability. The TA would have theirs. The town clerk, whoever we assign those licenses to, has the full operation, and they can assign a alternative. Although if it's a main email address, say like selectboard.org, any one of the three of us can log into selectboard.org and start the meeting.
Right. So what about the committees so I can understand having a license for all
Yep.
sort of the major
I thought
committees.
about that.
What
Right,
about the,
Right, so
what
the
about the little
ones, so the
committees?
ones like planning board and
Yeah.
ZBA, they could share one because they're connected in some way. You can have more than one meeting going at the same time, too.
Right, I know that,
Right,
yeah.
you know, it's up to 2, I think. And so,
Under one license?
under each license, you can have 2 meetings.
Oh,
going on
I
at the
see,
same
under
time.
each license.
Yeah, so
Okay.
10 licenses, 20 meetings could be occurring,
I see.
because you can do
Okay.
more than one at once. So, so you could, like the library trustees.
They have their own
Kenny-
now, don't they? I mean, the library does?
Yeah,
They do,
Yeah.
this would save them money, they wouldn't be having that extra expenditure, right? So like, just with the 2 accounts that we've been doing back and forth, my calculation came, we were spending over $3,000 for those 2 accounts. With this one, it's 2,100 and you have 10 now. I know the cemetery commission has theirs, the fire department at one point had their own, and the library, so we're actually spending
Fire
thousands more than
department
we
does
need
not
to be
have their own.
spending.
They don't
know.
have one.
But we're spending thousands more than we need to, and this just puts it under, and there can be one administrator one, so the
So-
town clerk for records could have that in the store.
Yeah, so yeah, you should definitely.
Yeah, yeah, so it
So
gives us,
so we have to set that up.
we just need
right?
to set it up, yeah,
can I ask one question?
Yeah.
The 30 hours of meeting time
30
over,
hours per meeting. Your time can be 30 hours.
Per license.
Per license.
Per
So
meeting,
A
per
meeting
license.
is
Right.
limited to 30 hours, you can have a 30-hour meeting.
We could have a 30-hour select board meeting.
Let's
Oh, what
not,
fun.
I don't want to test that option.
With our current system, are we paying on an annual basis?
Monthly
Like,
basis.
we're paying monthly.
Mhm. It's cheaper to pay annually.
I see, okay,
Yeah.
so we could just pay annually, because we
Pay
know
one
that.
annually, beginning of the year, or whenever we do it, it'll be annually, you don't have to worry about it monthly, you don't have to worry about a personal credit card or being used, you can just do it
So what about a small committee, let's say the rec committee or something like
Yeah.
that? I mean, do they have their
Grace,
own
Grace gives them out through her account.
through her account?
Right, and we could just probably have a chart of like who you go to, like the
Right,
really
right.
small
Right.
We
committees.
can combine some of them.
Yeah.
You know, we can do, if we find we need more, we can do 15, or we could do 12.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
We don't
that's-
have to
no, I
do 10.
understand
10
that.
is
No, I
the,
get it.
you have to do
Okay.
10, but you could do more.
My question, I guess as much as anything, it
Christine.
seems to me we want to move away from having the town administrator have to spend a lot of time doing that, right? If they could do their own.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd
they
have to, so how do those meetings get scheduled and how do they get started? I guess by the,
So it's within Zoom. So when you go, if you want to schedule a meeting within Zoom, you pick your date, your time, like you would on a like a calendar.
Yeah.
Google, you date, time, it gives you some other parameters, waiting room and all that, and then it gives you a link when you say, this is their
Yeah.
time, 7 PM to 8 PM. It gives you the time, and the link and everything, and then you just post that online, and the meeting stays in Zoom, and when the person clicks on it, it starts, like when Becky starts our meetings here. It has like a scheduler inside the Zoom license, so you can do
so
that.
how will all this happen next week, let's just say?
We have to figure out how to pay them the fee so I know we don't have a credit card for a town that hadn't worked out well. I believe we can invoice it and send them a check. It wouldn't be in a week. Maybe they'll do an account maybe, or a wire transfer. I didn't look into those specifics, but that is the option.
And then how do we who are we and how do we set it up?
We can assign someone to be the administrator to this thing, and that each license can be assigned to an email address, and that I think is most of the sign up is that, and then we can do a training session with whoever we
Yeah,
sign
we're
it
gonna
up
have to
with.
do a training
Yeah.
session.
Yeah.
With
Most
the-
people
with the-
are gonna know how to do it by this
Right.
point.
Right. I'm just sort of worried about the literal transition to like what the system now, this newer system.
The ones we have now are individual accounts. They're not business. They're
We
business.
can
He's saying
close
for the
accounts.
meetings
They can
coming up.
easily close, right? If we have some for meetings, so we use them for that, and we have to make a cutoff for
Okay.
the new one, right? So we'll have to check into the paying of the fee for the business.
Okay.
I'm willing to be helpful if I can, what we need for that.
I guess I just want to avoid the situation where
Yeah.
some committee wants to schedule a meeting and they don't know how to do it.
Right,
And
and there'll be some.
And Gabe's not here, for
Right, right.
example,
and
because
they
it's not her
can-
day
I
to be
mean,
here.
I
and
can,
we-
I
you know,
can walk them
you know the
through.
deal.
Yes.
Melissa's gonna handle that.
I can handle the tech end to
Right.
get them up and running.
Right.
But like I said, most people have been using Zoom in their work lives since COVID.
Oh, I know, I know.
Right, it's more that business like where Becky
Becky,
now
yeah.
or
Yeah,
Grace
yeah.
are kind of starting meetings.
Yeah, that's
Right,
right.
that will disappear,
That's-
you won't have to do that.
But,
Yeah.
like he's talking about next week and the week
Yeah, for the ones
after.
next week, and then we
Yeah.
start, we pick a date where we start everybody doing their own, so we
Right.
would
Right.
wanna have that cut.
Because we also have to get do all those places have email addresses? Like, is there a
The
thing?
ones I thought of all did, but,
Okay, okay.
you know. So,
Okay,
go forward with that.
All right.
Put a big zoom at the top of my page. So I'll look into the billing.
Yeah, I'm glad to
That's
help
the
do it
biggest
too,
thing.
if that's.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but-
Maybe we'll
Give me-
divide and conquer.
yeah, right.
So,
But actually, that's one of the things I would ask is there a list of email addresses of who has email addresses that are, I mean, I know the
the
select
town,
board.
yeah. I was thinking the overall email address, like,
Who sets up those email addresses?
web committee.
yeah,
No,
they're on the
they've asked people to set their own up.
No, I mean about the.
personal ones, but the committee
Yeah,
one.
Yeah, the committee one.
The committee ones are
The
all
50.
on the webpage for each
Yeah,
individual
yeah.
committee.
Okay.
It says like concom@shutesbury.org.
I would never wouldn't put it to anyone's personal email.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
so
no,
we-
I'm not saying-
So we
yeah,
use
no,
it
I'm
as
I
the,
figured you were.
I'm just wondering if we have all those emails, should we have any different ones, or how do we create one, or whatever, but that's fine, we're getting in the weeds here, so.
Yep.
We can figure it out.
We can always add to it too, so if we get some set up, get 10 set up, see how it's working, we can always add some.
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
Cool. All right.
Building committee.
Building committee is very busy. Finished the school, Gabe, they finished the school painting and trim job. It looks great. And they have, I think we talked about, I gave did I tell you about, the building committee is working on a full spreadsheet that identifies every component of every building, of the, the windows, the bathrooms, the toilets, the trim, everything. And they have been working diligently to doing the inspections and then putting all the updates in it and prioritizing. They hope potentially to complete that task in the new year. I'm not sure how soon. They will, they are making a budget request for $40,000 given a half dozen projects they've already identified and have costs for, but they will begin after the completion of this project, putting in for, more major capital repairs, like where, if there new windows are needed in a building or a new roof but they are multifaceted. They are also pursuing small projects at the same time. They've put a new roof on the dam house down by the dam by volunteers at $550 for that. They have put they're working on the roof. I don't know all the different parts of the roof. At the top of the roof, they've been replacing things that have been wearing out.
On this roof?
No, at the fire station.
Oh, at the fire station.
At the fire
Okay.
station, they're making a bunch of repairs, but they've identified different things that need done, and then they work with a volunteer, and the work gets done, submit the materials for payment and on to the next smaller project.
And they had $40,000 this year, right?
That's what they requested 40,000. What I see is they only received 30.
Okay, so they did 30 in FY '25.
They will be pushing for 40 for FY '26.
Great.
And it might be nice if one of the select board members wants to go visit a building committee meeting. They would love to have you. And
Yeah, how often do they meet?
about every 2 weeks.
They do, okay.
On a Wednesday, they're at 5:30 on Wednesdays.
Okay. I mean, maybe we can, do you want to do assignments now, or, I mean, are you gonna identify like the build, I'd be willing to do the building committee. I don't know that I could do it every Wednesday.
No,
Okay.
I think if you
But
would
I-
touch base with
Yeah,
them.
we can,
Is that-
we can set assignments up here.
Make Michael listen in.
Yeah, right, and you can make, be very critical. for that.
Right.
I can't believe you guys are doing that.
I know.
But if there wasn't one, you couldn't attend.
So I
the
do
group.
coverage, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and my role there was to, pick up projects and manage things and just make sure things get paid, do coordination, and then, with all the procurement, handle that side of it.
So I guess that, just going back, backtracking a little bit, so the FinCom is meeting every 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
Okay, and,
Their traditional schedule is on your off weeks.
okay, on Tuesdays,
On Tuesday
other-
nights, they meet at
okay,
6:30. So right now, because you're meeting like every week,
yeah,
For bumping into.
you're bumping into them, but you're meeting earlier than they meet, so.
So, I mean, Gabe, at some point, we can talk about whether or not you think it's a good use of your time to go to all the finance committee meetings, or if you want one of us to cover some of them, but, maybe once you've had a chance to talk to AJ, you can get a sense of, AJ's the chair, AJ Cashew, and I think
Yeah,
he could.
I agree with that. That's a great idea. I want to meet with AJ and see what their expectations are this
Yeah.
year. They may
Yeah.
have different ones with Becky leaving. So I'll meet with them, and then the first few times, I think I should probably leave you guys and go to them just to get a feel.
Yeah, yeah, okay, great.
Well, Becky, have you been sort of the keeper of the budget,
Yeah.
document over time? I mean, so, I don't know whether Gabe's planning on doing that, or how we would do it if she wasn't.
And that could be optional, Gabe, because George
I was gonna say George.
Arvanitis is still on the finance committee. And depending on what your workload is, he could be, he's worth talking to about how much work he'd be willing to do on the
Right.
budget.
That's why I asked you if you entered the town budgets as you got them.
Yes, well, I'm still trying to catch up on the finals from last year. I include the data from the final last year, and that's just being concluded now. I think I'm just gonna get the expense report from Gail, tomorrow to input the finals. So that needs to happen, and then just maintaining the requests as they come in. And also redoing the revenue side. We can look that over. Let's make that a priority for tomorrow.
Sure.
Elevator, building maintenance.
Okay, this is a doozy. I had them here at 8 o'clock this morning. I had the fire alarm people and the elevator people together. They signed, the elevators signed off. The elevator people were able to communicate that it was operational and functioning. So they've put in for the placard removal from the episode 2 weeks ago. Gabe, our elevator got placarded, shut down over Election Day, but they came in today and have cleared it, so we're now waiting for the inspector to show up. He's being scheduled. I've given them your contact information. Well, I just told him to call the town administrator or email. Associated Elevator will be getting so they're setting up the appointment with the inspector, and they will relay that information to the town. I'm handling the work order. I've submitted that, but just so if you see that come in, Lenny would need to be contacted as the fire chief for that day as well. And they'll come back and re-inspect. And hopefully everything goes well. We had a very mysterious problem the majority of last year, from October to May, and it's not, we might need a whole new circuit for our fire alarm, or a whole new fire alarm. It's been limping along, but I think I've requested a quote, and that'll be in your inbox as well.
When it is fully functioning and stuff, does someone like press it once a day to make it operate?
I don't. I wouldn't know if somebody else, but we usually.
You mean
have-
like testing it?
No, just having it work.
Oh, you mean,
Keeps
oh,
computers
the elevator
going, using
moving.
it, not using it once a day. It
Uh-huh.
helps keep everything looped up and the system's working. As it goes, it
Doesn't forget.
It doesn't forget. What,
So-
an elevator?
But we do have people that use it every day when they come in.
Oh, really?
as long as it's doing something
Yeah.
every day, otherwise it does these things.
Not over I can't say that happens over the weekend, but it does happen during the week.
All right.
All right, and then, fire department, I'm assuming that's what that means.
Fire department, so Lenny is he's been working through finishing up that equipment grant. He was awarded in the spring of '24. There was other documents and sign-off stuff that he was unaware of that they helped him with. Lenny's really good about asking questions, Gabe. If he has an issue trying to, with a grant or something, this is just his second year, and some of the grants are new.
So
for
he's
him. But
full-time?
He is full-time, yes.
So what time does he come in? I'm just curious.
He's typically in from 9 to 5, but he also responds to accidents and, you know, as a fire chief would. Currently, he just had surgery, so he is not coming in regularly yet. He has been in a little bit just to help with some information and some forms, but the other fellow's, Rue, his lieutenant is taking charge and managing. He does answer questions at home and help with things that he can, but everybody is on him just to stay resting, not to lift anything.
And do we have a projected date, like how long is he supposed to be out?
About 3 weeks, 3 to
It's
4 weeks. He'll be getting, I think he has a doctor's appointment. I'll have to get you the date. It's in
Okay.
about 10 days.
Okay, he's already been out for 2.5 weeks. Yeah, okay.
Not quite that long. Yeah.
So the only reason I asked was elevator inspection.
Right, and I have alerted him that that's gonna be happening. I texted him, so he has that on his calendar for, you know, to expect a call. And if for some reason, like if his appointment with the surgeon is that day and he can't be there when they schedule it, we would have to request the fire alarm company to come to handle the fire alarm part, which will cost more. But it's a backup plan.
Will he give us the medical note like you did the last time?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so emergency management, we do have a meeting.
Can we just go
Oh, I'm sorry.
back on the emergency action plan for the
Yeah.
dam? What's that?
Okay, so the emergency action plan is we are required to update it with update all the contacts in it regularly. It hasn't been done since 2019.
We've been talking about this for a few months.
I'm just letting you know it's complete.
Oh, it's cool, great, okay, good.
But it's completed, except for the guys in Montague haven't responded, so I know that he hasn't been able to disseminate it, you know, do all the
Until
print-ups. And so, once he gets the Montague, so I didn't want to take it off the list till.
Can't we just follow Montague Town Administrator and find that information out?
It's an emergency management director's name who is not at town hall
I see.
and is like a private citizen with his own, you know, they don't have his phone number, blah, blah, blah. He tried the fire department, you know, by this time, hopefully he has it, but,
Okay, great.
you know, it was one of those knock your head against the wall.
Just under fire, you know, I assume we'll talk about the regionalization community compact grant when we talk about project stuff. Okay, great.
Okay, so emergency management meeting, the next one was scheduled for the 11th.
December 11th.
Okay, you know, it's funny, I didn't put that down.
Yeah, I had it,
I wanted to.
they have to make sure, Kristen knows about these, she has been left off communications about meetings, so, we'll just make sure.
It's not the 4th.
No,
Why
she
do I have
wasn't
the
left
4th
off,
down?
no one
did I
no one
say
got
fourth?
an email. She wasn't left off of anything.
The prior ones that she was, no,
Well, I don't think any of
have
us
it on
got
the 11th,
emails.
not
You have it
last
on the
time.
11th? Okay, I might have just put it on the wrong date in this
I'm
calendar.
checking on a second.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
You have the 11th? Okay, I did the wrong Wednesday.
That's okay. There's a lot of meetings. Okay. Then insurance.
I just gotta make sure, Gabe, this is just, there was, some problems with the town clerks when we changed vendors for the bond, through Maya. Anyway, the applications have gone back in, but it's been like, maybe 2 months, I haven't seen anything come back. So I need to follow up on that. In case I don't get it done, I just wanted to alert you.
Right, so Maya is the one who's handling it?
Yes.
It's not Cabot or Travelers?
It's a third-party name for the actual.
Okay, but it's through Maya.
It's through Maya. It's one of their vendors.
Okay, got it.
While we're on the insurance thing, and this may be in the projects, I haven't glanced at that. I know that there's a highway windshield that's cracked and there's a cracked one on
There were
police and
claims.
there's claims.
Yeah,
They've been
I
waiting
put
for a
those
while.
claims in 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
So
do we know
hopefully
when they'll be fixed?
I
'Cause I
have to go
know
back to it.
Dave can't get one of the
Yes.
vehicles is out of inspection because of windshield needs to be fixed before it can be inspected.
Correct.
So do they come here and do the windshields?
I haven't done a windshield through them
Oh, okay.
before, so I hope so.
Okay.
It
Yeah,
usually is
that's
for
what they do.
ours, yeah, they
Yeah,
wait
I
till
know
the
that a
place,
lot
yeah,
of us,
yeah.
they do it, yeah.
Is that something those two departments can do themselves? Can the highway do it when they have a claim, or the police department do that when they have a claim, or do they have to go?
They
through
have
them?
before, and this is the first time they've ever come to me.
And highway.
Okay, so for highway, one of the current major concern, repair is down by the lake. It's on that, you know where there's that A-frame?
Yeah.
Right before the A-frame, the culvert that goes under the road, that's notorious for beavers, has, last winter, it collapsed on one side and they jimmy rigged it. I think Dave spoke about this at his interview. So that culvert, he has been talking to FERCog, trying to get engineering assistance, and he's also, they did a site visit when Chris Bouchard was out here last week. So he's doing everything he can to get solid direction on a repair that is, he wants to do a significant repair with like a precast cement pieces replacing what's currently there. So that's gonna take more planning and assistance, and we'll need to find the funding for it.
Before winter.
Before winter?
But we do have chapter 90 money, so if we just need to move, we could use that.
So it has to be done before the winter. And what about
It
the
would.
Conservation Commission?
He needs to work with them still, it's
So he
not
hasn't-
permitted. He has been in touch with them. I mean, we were last year, we got an emergency permit when it fell in. So he needs to get to Concom on that issue, Gabe. I think Beth is aware of the project. He has spoken to her briefly about it.
Where is this, where exactly is
You
it?
know, what you go, after you made the turn at the Lux Pond, and
Yeah.
that's Lakeview there.
Mhm.
And then you just go down and there's an A-frame right on the right, but after you pass the lake.
Yeah,
You pass the lake,
Yeah.
the A-frame's right
Oh,
there,
yeah,
kind of on
yeah,
the
yeah,
water. There's a culvert under
Oh, okay,
there.
okay.
My concern would really be about the Conservation Commission
Yeah.
and getting the permitting, because of, you know, their calendar gets pretty full. Plus, if he's not experienced in doing, does he have to do an RDA, or has to do a notice of intent?
Beth is, I'm sure it'll be a notice of intent.
Yeah.
So I don't see this project getting done before spring.
And is that gonna be okay?
Hopefully it won't fall in. They shore it up with boulders, I think in the spring. But if it's, you know, definitely, we have to go to Concom at this point first.
So it's probably not gonna happen this winter. Yeah, I can't imagine. Right.
Doesn't
It
seem like
depends
it.
how Concom treats it. They have been extremely good and helpful about directing applicants what exactly they need and not overburdening anybody.
So you've been working with Dave?
Yeah, I've
Can
been
you talk to him
peeking
about this?
peeking in with him, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was the one that mentioned it to me.
okay,
Yeah.
great.
Basically what she had just said, and they use some rickrack, which is not boulders, but the smaller
Yeah.
rocks that fit together for that as well.
Yeah, it's more just like if he
Yeah.
needs help, if the
Help for the
Conservation
RDA or
Commission
ID,
isn't
okay.
gonna do the
Okay.
notice of intent with him, maybe we have to find somebody else, like.
What we used to do when Linda was here, Linda did all highway notice of intents.
Oh, okay, so.
And it might be worth starting to talk to Mateo about assisting our town department heads.
Right,
Mateo Pangalo is our
I'll touch
new
base with
land
you.
use clerk.
Let me make sure we send her that.
yeah, that would be great.
And then it helps with scheduling or knowing what happens at a
Right.
meeting. If he can start to, Carrie was, with Miriam there, that wasn't even a
Right,
possibility. But I
Yeah.
think now, it could be very helpful to
Yeah,
keep
that's a
all
good
the
idea.
town.
What's his title again?
The land use clerk.
Clerk. Okay, thank you.
So he's in charge, he works with planning board, ZBA, and Concom.
He on your list here?
He's on my master list. I'll get you that one. I mean, you want one of all employees and times, and I'll have their phone numbers on there too,
Right. Okay.
and emails.
And then there's the culvert, the Dudleyville culvert.
So the Dudleyville culvert is definitely, a project to work on the design for. I applied for a DER competitive grant in the spring. I did not get it. Over that time, Gabe, I don't know if you've driven down Montague Road all the way through to Leverett.
No.
There's a pond halfway to Leverett. They had a dam on that pond that was massively rearranged by a very avid landowner who poured tons and tons of concrete. And at one time did have managed to create electricity at the site for a short while. But then it became a hazard, and the private family, the Browns, have been hounded by Office of Dam Safety for 25 years. And this last spring, the project to remove the dam was done. So their dam is now gone, but at the other side of where their dam used to be is our 3-foot wide, 20-foot tall culvert.
20 feet tall?
It's 20 feet tall. It's a massive stone culvert that drops down into a valley. And all the engineering that was done regarding the dam removal spoke to our culvert. So there's a lot of work about our culvert done in their designs that we reuse some of the information. So all of that can be used to pursue another grant. But as far as funding goes, the woman in charge, Susie Bresney, who works for DER, is pulled a group of women together that helped pay for and come up with all the funding for the Brown Dam removal. It was about $140,000. It's a group of nonprofits along with state organizations. But I've lost contact with them over the last couple of weeks, but that's another area where they're trying to help us find the money. So there'll be good folks for you to touch base with Susie and see what is developed, because they were going to apply for a couple different grants for us. So I definitely want you in touch with her.
And the blanket of conditions that Steve started, looks like. And that Dave is working with Beth on.
Yes.
So is there a document drafted?
Well, Beth and I there was a document, yeah,
Okay.
there's an existing document that Beth was reviewing. I've given that to Dave. Steve had it, but I got a new copy to Dave so he can be looking through it. And be ready to have conversations with Conservation Committee with Beth and Scott
Scott,
Kahan. Yeah, he was,
Scott's sort of it's Beth and Scott are the two key people on the Conservation Commission dealing with this, or?
with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott volunteered to help Beth with this one.
Okay.
And he was gonna work with Steve, and they hadn't gotten back together after the summer. And now Steve's gone, so it'll be Dave working with them.
Okay.
And police?
Okay, so the union negotiations were done. Just want to make sure we get them their private duty detail funding at special town meeting. Special town meeting warrant outside of the recommendation from finance is ready to go, so I'll make sure Dave knows where, you know, it's at her fingertips to print up. I don't think there's any open issues from the contract other than that.
The chief's contract will be coming up for negotiation soon.
Yeah.
Too.
When is that? Is that this year?
It's this year, and the fire chiefs is next year.
When you say this year, do you mean by December 24? It's
Oh,
up?
no, this fiscal
The
year.
fiscal year. yeah.
Okay,
But-
just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
We should get that underway. Okay.
She's in FY '26, basically.
Well, the contract will be negotiated this year.
Right, right.
Yeah,
For the
starting
next year,
in
yeah.
for
Yeah,
next
she's in the
FY
third year for a
yeah.
3-year contract, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And schools. Although you kind of touched on this already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I don't know that we,
Yeah.
think
We're
we're
good.
there.
The only thing, that elementary school negotiations came in much less than they were pushing for, that the union was pushing for. So I think that will really help the school in the next couple of years. But then anticipate a much bigger push from the teachers in the next union negotiation. They felt like they should have gotten more this year, and because of it going so late into the year, they couldn't really push any harder. And they didn't want to increase the town budget. So they're an odd group. They're sensitive to the town budget, but they wanted to increase their salary. So it worked out well.
MLP,
I think you already covered this. didn't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
under
we
technology.
did under technology,
Yeah.
so we're good.
Yeah, that's a good, COA.
Okay, so Gabe, just so you're aware, Council on Aging just this year is coming back into the building. We want to make sure, it could be Abby, or I used to just have a calendar on the table where people would sign up for things. I think that's the easiest way to go. But just so you have some sense in case, we just want to avoid a collision.
Are they doing meals and that sort of thing?
Yes, the foot clinic is back second Wednesdays. The luncheon is back on second Tuesdays.
Or are they still using the side room? Because the room you're in looks like it's got a lot of stuff in it.
No, they're using the
Yeah.
old senior lounge.
Yeah, the
senior
side
lounge.
room.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a public health nurse that's in the senior lounge. She works Monday and Wednesdays from 10 to 1. Sometimes she goes over. because that's why it's hard to remember exactly what her hours are, 'cause she'll be here till 2 if somebody comes in. And there's more pressure from the select board when they're negotiating with their lawsuits. They like to use this room. So it's just good to know where we're at. So if we can get that, another calendar ordered and have it out in the hall.
You just did the public nurse to the recreation committee?
Recreation committee is doing cooperative work with the library. They basically, Mary Ann helps them advertise, and they give Mary Ann money for additional programming. So it's a good relationship, it's very productive.
And then you've listed a few capital projects.
So the new library building, there could be, you know, Mary Ann might come, she periodically, well, every little while asks questions about what's going on there, just to get your insights on things. So I'm sure you'll be seeing Mary Ann with her concerns as they reach new stages in the building project. Kristen has ordered her new pickup truck. She's uncertain when it's gonna arrive. It's probably gonna come in early next year. She also ordered, with a 50% grant, body cameras. The ones that we got 5 years ago are no longer functioning. So she's getting new body cameras, and hopefully we can, live up to the policy more completely.
Are they required by law to have them?
No,
Yeah.
no. The towns are, I think, both. I mean, you can, it's up to the policy, the select board
Right.
works with the towns.
And the last set from 5 years ago were completely free from a grant from Dan. And
They're what?
They were free, the ones that
Oh,
Dan had
I
got
see,
from a
okay.
grant
That's why they
completely,
were the
so
cheapest
they were
ones and
not
fell
as-
apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
although they've made improvements on the camera sets.
So they have a budget line for the other 50%, that's already in the budget, right?
She got the funding through capital planning and
Yeah, that's what I
then
thought, yeah.
got passed at town meeting.
Okay, that's what I thought, that's what I remember, yeah.
So I think it was 5,000, was half of it.
And then gravel.
Yeah, and so our roads, our dirt roads are in terrible condition. New material has not been put down in many years. Steve, in acknowledging that when he started last year, went to capital planning to get enough, to get funding to supplement his gravel roads and be able to put down additional gravel. Dave is taking that a step further with all his meetings to get new information, working with FERCog, and I think it was Chris Bouchard from DOT who has advised him that he needs to be using other stone mixed in with the dirt to make the gravel roads hold up and be. So he's gonna likely be making an additional request this year for new material and augmenting the road project, the dirt road project.
So you said for fiscal year 26, but he's not going to the finance committee in FY 25 to ask for any more money?
He'll be going for the upcoming
Next.
budget.
For the upcoming budget, okay.
Yeah. Which they're already, FinCom's gonna talk to him about on Tuesday.
Okay. So I don't know where this belongs, but I sort of had a category of legal/litigation, just that I think it's important for Gabe to know that there are at least a couple of lawsuits that the town is involved with.
We currently have 3 open lawsuits, Gabe. One is with Coles regarding the planning board's solar bylaw. we have Michael Hootstein
Mm.
suit against two named individuals in the town, the library director and the police chief, and as well as the whole town.
So
So
is-
that,
Is this being covered by your insurance?
yes, no, yes.
Not,
Sorry,
not the,
they both are not Coles, but the Michael Hootstein is covered by our insurance, and we are using Robinson Donovan.
But the planning board is not?
no, it's not covered by insurance, so they sued us for, our solar bylaw based on the, oh, now it's gonna escape me, the Waltham case,
Something road or lane or something.
Oh, Tracer
Tracer
Lane.
Lane.
Very good. Tracer Lane, based on Tracer Lane, that our bylaw is too restrictive. So we have outside counsel from Mead, Tallerman, and Costa is the firm, and Adam Costa is the outside, our person on the Coles lawsuit. And it's also
With Donna.
with Donna and Pure Sky, which is the contractor, is part of it. So right now, we are discussing, we're in settlement discussions, so I have been the liaison. Michael DiChiara, who's on the planning board, and I have been the liaison to the discussions, and then Adam and Donna have been involved with Pure Sky and with Coles, and we're moving, we're transitioning into mediation, and so there is, I just shared with the select board, and I'll share with you, there's discussion about scheduling a session coming up, and there are dates out there, but
Okay.
yeah, that's, and then we have, we have the MCAD.
We have our tree warden is suing us.
Former tree warden.
Former tree warden, who, how's the best way to say this? Okay, he is, this lawsuit.
You don't need to even go into the lawsuit.
Yeah, the lawsuit's being handled by Robinson Donovan, that's what you does need to know, because that's who, and by Hunter what? Hunter?
The lawyer.
Yeah, I'll have the full name for you. I put those on a separate sheet.
Okay, that's fine. We don't need to go into that, just, okay.
So those are the three lawsuits. Well, yeah, and we have the 23 audit, we have the draft, came in, but I'm still trying to get them 2 documents. I need one from the police chief. I found the second one. We're getting those over to them, and they should be able to finalize the 2023 audit. This spring, we need to do annual audits because of the library project. So this spring, we're going to be doing the 2024 audit. If we get it funded at a special town meeting ahead, because the annual, we'll need to get it funded, the second one for this year.
So should that be on the warrant for this upcoming special town meeting?
It can be, or it can be ahead of the annual town meeting. We can add it now.
Will we have something for another special town meeting?
No, but Becky's saying we could do it right before the
Yeah, I can
April.
add that one on. Oh, yeah, we can do it right before the April.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's not add it.
No, it's fine,
Oh, gosh. We had something else. could be a disaster. So money, a special town meeting before annual in April. So we have our annual town meeting the last Saturday in April. And in previous years, we've moved, got pushed later during COVID, got pushed later.
May and June.
Yeah, I don't know this year, we're just gonna have to look at where we are with that. I think the regional school budget might be the biggest determination or whatever, determinant about whether or not we're gonna be able to, that we're gonna be ready for April. If that goes on, remember last year it was like after town meeting that things were finally getting settled.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna need to be on top of that.
Which is, I think they're starting that early this year, right?
Right.
So that we wouldn't end up in that spot.
Yeah.
It's probably a town clerk question, but can you move your town meetings or is it set by legislature, your date?
We
No,
can
we
move
can.
them.
You can move it? Okay.
We've been moving them, last year was the first time we ever, okay, so 5-6 years ago, we voted the last Saturday in April to be our day for our town meeting. And this past year was the first time we ever did it.
Because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
COVID, right.
Yeah, so we were holding
Outside,
town
yeah.
meetons outdoors.
We had a
During
wonderful
COVID.
tent behind town hall and a lot of
Ticks.
chicks.
A lot of ticks.
It was a fun experience though, because it
It
was
was.
more casual.
It was. And everybody really liked
And,
it.
yeah, well, except for it being so cold.
But the last year, it was about 40 degrees and
right.
it was
Freezing.
people
Loved
were
it.
driven out of the,
Yeah, it was
out of
cold,
town
it was
meeting.
cold.
It was not good.
Okay, are we ready for project stuff?
Okay. Okay, so Abe, here's a good one for you. We were awarded an MVP grant for a lightning pickup truck and solar panels for our new library.
And Ford's not building the Lightning pickup truck anymore, right?
Oh, they just had an article, they stopped, they're putting that one in mothballs.
Yep.
Yeah, in moth-
And so I've been talking with Tim Pachurek, trying to get, he's done other systems, he's worked with people.
Who is it?
Our electrician, Tim
Oh.
Pachurek.
Oh, Tim Mature?
Pachurek,
Okay.
Spell his last name.
Paciorek.
Good, okay.
Oh, okay.
Circle gets the square.
And I've also contacted, I reached out to my MVP rep and the library. So I'm going to be speaking with him tomorrow. He wants to meet you when you come right away.
Who does that?
Andrew Smith, our MVP rep.
Oh, okay.
So I will be in touch with him tomorrow just to see if any of the ideas Tim has come up with might work with our grant. The library folks had a great idea about an outdoor battery backup system that was a potential, but they notified me that that was not viable at all. So that one's off the table. We're trying to keep this grant alive. It's going to take a miracle, but it could happen.
And Tim Pachurek is the electrician for the contractor on the library?
No,
Who is he? Who's Tim Pachurek?
he has the school account and has done a lot of work in Shutesbury. He did,
Electrician on file, or on retainer.
Yeah. Not on retainer for
Well,
us,
no,
though.
but
He's
you
on
know
retainer
it.
for the school. But he's done a number of he did the MLP fiber network generator and hut installation.
Why are we talking to him rather than the electrical contractor for the library about what works?
Well, I tried to talk to him, what I'm trying to find is a replacement for the Lightning truck. Tim has worked with other clients and put in backup systems that could be, and he's worked with the Lightning truck. So the question is, he's doing the research. I was just trying to get information to find out if we have a substitute truck that could do the battery backup. That's the question he's trying to answer, because what the library came up with didn't work out at all.
I see. So in the library talked about
Outdoor.
Yeah. Like
A stack of batteries. Some way they were stacking batteries that, and you didn't need a hut. It was weatherproofed and self-contained, but
Yeah.
it's off the table.
And that was.
And why is it off the table? I
Yeah.
mean, they say it can't be done because, why, do you know?
Marianne didn't tell me why. She just
Oh.
said that she heard from Dominic that this was no longer viable option.
I believe they could, if I remember correctly, and I may be remembering incorrectly, that they couldn't have a battery storage shelter on the property initially.
That was the original thing, but then they were, I thought that they
That's
thought
why
they
we were
could do
thinking
something
mobile.
outside
Right.
because they were already like having a pad or something,
Yeah.
weren't they? It was already in the specs that they would have a concrete
Landing
pad
pad,
where,
yeah.
where you could have the outdoor battery. So, okay, is there a deadline for the library to know this information, or a deadline with MVP, or?
We're just we're doing what we can.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully if, they haven't given us a deadline, they might very soon from MVP, I don't know, or the library.
Just thinking about it, I wonder if there's some other option for mobile ability, because the truck was mobile ability, right? We wanted it to be able to use it otherwhere. Is there another thing that's mobile?
You mean like a big generator that you would move?
They have batteries that do come on trailers that you can move, so you put it in place to charge it, and then you can take it wherever it needs to go in town. Could be the library, it could be, say there's a work site that we have to work on, and the fire department needs a battery down there to run lights or something. Do you know what I'm saying, like a larger use of it?
Yeah, I think the big issue with the battery, at least as I understood it, and this was, older information, was the size of the battery that you'd need to have in
to
order
hold
to
it.
run the library,
is too
like
large,
the
yeah.
key elements of keeping the library going, so heat,
Yeah.
lights, it would be pretty significant.
Yeah, and it was more than what the truck could produce.
Right.
So why'd they give us the grant?
They gave it to us, so.
So maybe something that has the larger storage that is
Right.
more mobile, maybe it can fit
And
that.
you can't have batteries, like you can't use the Tesla lithium batteries. You can't use those, or
If we,
Anchor.
Tesla, you have to use with Tesla system. I think they're kind of,
So there's
you
also Anchor. There's Anchor that lithium batteries you can install to be your backup on a solar system on the roof. Yes, okay, all right.
So.
I'm hoping your genius in alternative energy will make this happen, Gabe.
And Andrew's gonna meet with Gabe.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know Andrew? Gabe? No?
Okay, the next one is I submitted a grant application to Green Communities for the remaining LED lighting needed at the elementary school. It's about a $48,000 grant. I don't, we'll find out if we get it or not, but it's been submitted, so I want you to know it's out there.
Okay.
I have not yet completed the Green Communities annual report. I'm trying to get that done before I'm done. But in case I haven't, it's just want to make sure you ask or are aware of it in case I don't, because it's due on the 15th. But I will do everything I can to get that done. I already told you about the DER grant and Susie Bresney. There's her information. The community compact grant we went for was, we are working with Leverett, New Salem, and Wendell. I don't know if your town administrator reported in New Salem anything about this, Gabe, but it's, we're in phase 2 now of a regionalization proposal. All 4 fire chiefs voted to use phase 2 to explore a fire district. So it's a very specific thing that they're looking at. At no point in time have they taken a vote to agree to regionalize. They dismissed all the concepts pretty much that came out of phase 1 and focused in on the fire district.
So who's
as
they?
District 2. The fire chiefs,
Who's
So
leading
here's
this?
a,
Joe, your guy, what's
Joe
Joe's name?
Cuneo? Joe Cuneo, who's
Joe?
retiring?
Yes, he's about to leave.
Yep.
And Brian Cook is the full-time Leverett fire chief. And Lenny is our fire chief, Lenny Zermaka.
and Wendell is,
Joe
Joe
Cuneo.
half-time in Wendell and half-time
okay.
in New Salem.
Okay.
He's actually
And I think
full-time.
Full-time
He's a shared fire chief.
Yeah.
split between
Split
2
the
towns.
towns, yeah.
Do you know if his replacement, is that happening now?
I don't think so. I don't think he's officially given his notice. You can't really start to hunt for a replacement, but I know he's retiring this spring sometime.
Okay, so the discussion is focusing in on getting, on a district, and they are doing, all the mapping that they didn't do in phase 1. They're doing all the mapping from the different fire stations, figuring out response times, and there's a report on phase 1 in the file that you can read, and I've been attending the few meetings they've had. If, the select board potentially might be able to go if you're unavailable.
So the phase 2 kickoff meeting I know happened, and I had a conflict. I thought
Right.
I was gonna be able to go, and then I had a conflict that morning.
I
So
did go.
and that was with the Collins Center?
Yes, it's a Collins Center grant, they're handling it. But that meeting was pretty much a surprise. We were meeting at the Shutesbury Fire Station, upstairs, and I just another problem to leave at your doorstep is Donna says we shouldn't be meeting there.
Yeah, because it's not.
It's not
handicap
legal.
accessible.
She's always said that.
Accessible, right.
Right.
And so Joe Comerford, Natalie Blay, and Aaron Saunders all show up at the meeting. We didn't know they were gonna show up.
Whoa.
Margie didn't know, I didn't know, the fire chiefs didn't know, the Collins Center invited them. They have a chief, okay, they have, one of their advisors is a retired fire chief, and he had been working in Northfield, where Joe came, and Joe was like, well, how do I learn more about what you're doing? And so they all show up for this meeting with a set of expectations that weren't any of ours, and then demanded information from the Collins Center. Joe believes that the issue that is bringing all these towns together, that issue being the growing uncertainty of being able to have part-time volunteer firefighters.
Right.
That's why she was there. She wants to understand that issue, and she wants to try to find solutions at the state level for that problem. So she wanted to learn about it, and that's why they attended.
There's also another problem too. I was talking to a resident, and they happened to mention that their homeowner's insurance was canceled because Shutesbury only had a volunteer fire department. They have been able to find homeowner's insurance through another insurer, but
Wow.
home insurers are looking at that.
And that's the new regulations. Were those federal regulations? I knew that there were new fire regulations.
So it had to do with some of the OSHA
State.
too.
It's OSHA,
OSHA
that's right,
safety
it was
and-
But
OSHA.
there's statewide, there's new regulations that are being formulated at the state
I
level
see,
now.
okay,
That's why she's paying attention.
wow.
And they kept talking about if we need a new building, you know, in between Leverett and New Salem, you know, they were gonna give us money to help us build new buildings and all this stuff.
Like
It
a
was
public
like,
safety building?
yeah,
Or in the center of the district.
yeah. I mean, they were saying, whatever you need, we'll be there for you. And we were like, we don't even know what we're doing yet.
Right,
Yeah,
wow,
So
okay.
it took quite a turn, and, so who knows what will happen next.
this meeting?
A month ago?
Yeah.
It was
Weeks
whatever
ago.
day you were having a brunch.
Yes, oh, I was having a birthday brunch, right, my friends. Right. I double booked.
So that-
Yeah,
This, and the other focus of phase 2 is gonna be on doing a survey to the people
Okay.
in town. And development of that survey is gonna be one of their major tasks. And this could be, their goal is to be prepared potentially to go to annual town meeting in all towns if they coalesce an agreement
about a district.
about a district.
And so they're gonna do a survey, and then is the Collins Center putting together a budget and all of that? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
So they would come up with recommendations and a structure for how this was gonna work,
Yes,
including a budget, okay.
yes.
That's pretty ambitious to go to annual town meeting, especially ours.
annual town meeting?
Yeah.
So
Well, the Collins Center will have completed their grant work. It's $30,000 grant. They have to do something.
Right.
So
But
what
who's
if,
your liaison? Is it Mary? Who's the Collins Center person you've got?
The person that did the first phase was Becca,
Okay,
and the new person, I can't remember
Is it on
his
you
name.
can tell me tomorrow, Becky, just so that I
Okay.
know who the contact is.
He didn't even send out an email confirming the meeting. So I don't know his name.
what happens if the
That's
survey
a-
comes back and people don't want anything other than what they have?
Then the town, Joe continually repeated, what happens here will be determined by the people of Shutesbury. I mean,
Yeah,
every
the
town,
towns will
the towns will determine what they want to do.
Okay.
So, and that, it's, all 4 towns will have a say. This time we won't let Leverett vote first. They voted first on police regionalization, and it was over before we even had a conversation. Okay, next thing, sorry. Clean Water Trust, I have to get Greg copies of all our invoices. They cannot figure out how to classify our money. They did not, I'm still trying to get the first round in to them complete of, all the bond application for them. This has been going on for months, but it's Greg Devine at, Clean Water Trust who has been asking, I've been asking for definition of what they want. I finally got it in writing that they just want copies of all the bills we paid.
Is this for us to get reimbursed?
Yes.
This is for us to get reimbursed, right? So we have,
Yeah, we had $150,000 grant. We have done the town meeting for a second $150,000 grant. We have not yet received the funding for the first one because of all these holdups. And hopefully this will be resolved quickly once they receive all the invoices.
and those are all together somewhere.
I've I've gotten scans of all the lab ones. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of work to get it sorted out to them, but I've got all the poet ones and all the tie and bond ones already. And I've got the majority of the lab ones.
And the invoices for the second, $150,000 that we're already into, right?
We're right on the edge. We're right on the edge.
Just start dipping into that, okay. So those will all be kept separately, right? I mean, we'll start a new file
It's
of
not
invoices.
that clear where
Okay.
the cutoffs
Oh, all
are.
right, okay.
Because, in fact, yeah, I probably am somewhat into the
Into that,
150.
okay.
But, and then we had the first chunk of money, which was the town's 136. And then the 2 tranches of 150,000.
And, are there, I mean, this is PFAS and it's gonna go into the next category too. Are there still new PFAS sites?
The church, Friday.
Okay.
So that's Matt Ellis. I
Mark.
spoke with,
Mark.
Mark Ellis, sorry. Mark Ellis, I spoke with him, and then he has passed off the issue to Chris Footit, who's gonna handle the coordination of the poet installation.
So Becky, my recollection was that every time there was like a new one, then did we go out 150 feet or something to test more
Yeah.
houses? So is that,
This is not on the edge,
okay. Oh, it's
because
not.
we're already over the hill.
Okay,
Yeah. So it's not gonna drive us further, but it shouldn't, should it? I haven't seen the new map.
and
I
who
think
does,
it's embedded.
Ty and Bond does the maps?
Yes, they do the mapping in relationship to, 500 feet out from the latest one.
That's 500 feet out. And, so what triggered the test at the church?
We were just retesting. We started the
Oh, it was a
October
retest,
retest.
okay.
Like I said, there's a whole bunch of tests that are coming
Right,
through
okay.
now. They started those.
So it didn't test positive the first time, and then the second time it tested positive?
This has been happening frequently. I didn't test positive in 21. Our house tested positive in 23.
Because you were part of the cycle of retesting. Okay.
How does it all work?
It
It's
moves.
moving.
It's
And we had a
moving.
lot of water between 21 and, yeah, a lot of groundwater movement, a lot of rain.
And then when there's the poet installation, then that is done, Ty and Bond handles the contractor who does that?
I handle the contractor. It's John Crean.
Is he on here?
No, I have that. Did I not get him on? I didn't get him on.
Why do you think? I'll ask you this tomorrow.
Okay. It's water filtration. Pavel Water Filtration is the company name.
AVIL.
Yes. I'm sorry, EF.
Yeah, okay.
And is anybody getting, still getting water from us? or-
I should be getting it to the church, but there wasn't, I'll make sure that they have someone there over there. I'll be taking over one of the dispensers.
Those two are
Yeah.
just sitting here, should those go into the church?
No, these are small.
Oh,
These came out of another house when we put in
larger
These we were using originally before Time Bond came on.
Okay.
Because
I'm just curious.
when we did it ourselves, he required them to be larger,
Okay.
bigger tanks, because then you can go longer without having to test.
So what happens to these? They look
I
like
think you
bombs.
should, what?
They look like bombs.
Yeah. No, I think it would be wonderful to do a raffle or something.
If
Because
anybody
there's a
wants it.
Yes, because I've had calls from at least 4 people in town who have followed up on their own and had their water tested for PFAS and had it come back with PFAS. Melissa doesn't have a filter, but she
I'm
was,
using a gravity filter, huh?
So, so this can be installed in somebody's
Right, it
house.
goes in inline, it's an inline one, right, it's right in the filter for
So when we do I mean, you have to follow sort of 30B disposition rather than do a raffle, right?
right, but I think at some point you would want to, at some point,
How much are they worth?
acknowledgement. Well, they're probably about $800 or $900. The full installation is $2,000. They're probably, but the large ones are 2,000. These were 1,500 to install originally.
So the filters themselves cost $800, but the
I'm
installation.
guessing, yeah, because with all the installation,
Okay.
they could be 1,000,
Yeah.
knowing our vendor, I think he gives us.
And depending on the difficulty of the home, I
Yes.
would imagine.
And we can't just return those?
Well,
credit?
They've been used.
They've been used?
yes,
They were
they
used.
came back out of places we had to put larger ones in. We had to
I
put
see.
a dual filter in. So I think that if, over time, once it settles and have a better sense, you'd want to create a program, a town program where people potentially, like, they get, the trash bags, like where they could buy, we discount the composters, we buy them for 50, we sell them for 20. We could eventually, hopefully, do that for everyone in town. I mean, it would be, people who need filters, it would be a help if they could install a filter for $1,000 instead of $2,000 or $3,000. Because I know these young families that are concerned.
Yeah.
If we could help them, that would be
There's a
great.
couple on my street.
So maybe someday we can get a PFAS grant for filters, and after we've researched how many people in town need them, and sell them for a discount.
But they still have to pay for their own installation.
Yeah,
Okay.
but 1,000 is better than 2.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Okay. So I jumped down to time on PFAS, because we were starting with the Clean Water Trust. Anything else on the time bond?
Just getting caught up with the letters, getting them out.
Right.
And I got one batch of letters out after Geneva left, but it's been very hard to keep up. And so now we're at GZA. It's an engineering firm that's doing our water,
Drawdown permit?
our drawdown at the at the lake. We for years have brought the water down every October 30th and then raise it back up, I think, in March. But the drawdown permitting was under challenge the last couple of years. GZA is assisting right now in trying to get us out of the 91, Chapter 91 license. We're hopeful that they should know shortly if they, win or lose their argument. They are putting in formally with our local Concom to receive a 1-year extension on their notice of intent. They had a pre-meeting to discuss it. They had asked for a 3-year extension, and it's not allowed under our new regulations. So we had to settle for a 1 year, and Beth said, just come back, just come back if it looks like you're gonna need the second or third year. Because if we know for sure we'll probably need 2 years.
So I just want to make sure I have my notes right. Ask for a 1 year extension for the drawdown.
The notice of
Notice
intent.
of intent, okay.
Drawdown, permitting around the drawdown. That permitting, the existing permitting is due to expire January 26th of 2025.
So are they actively in hearings?
Yes, yeah. I talked to her a month ago, and she was setting up the meetings with Concom.
So, it expires when?
January 26th.
26, 25.
January
26th.
26th of 2025.
Oh, January.
Right.
Oh, come on, don't confuse me.
Sorry.
And does the dam keeper, or does anybody go to those conservation commission meetings, or is it just GZA is handling all of that?
They did go, I will go, I was set to go to one of their meetings, but I had a conflict, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
But Adrian is good at working through with the agencies.
Adrian Dunk.
Adrian Dunk, yes.
Can I just back up on the Chapter 91 license? Is that DEP that issues that? Okay.
Yep.
And is that who, do we have a contact person at DEP on that or not?
No.
No, okay. GZA is doing it.
Yeah, GZA is doing that. And they have reached out to Natural Heritage and a couple other places, preparing their reports. They've been speaking with different agencies. They didn't want me to attend.
Okay.
Because they were telling their story.
Okay.
But we did not get the exemption they had hoped for through Natural Heritage. So we're hoping to get the Chapter 91 license exemption, and then that'll help cut the full load of work that's going to have to get done in the next 2 years.
And we put up a lot of money for this, is my recollection.
We have, but
If we get the,
when we didn't get when they didn't, potentially the work that they were looking at, if we don't get any exemptions, is about 120,000.
okay,
And Beth verified that the path we would have to take is arduous. So we're hoping that the second extension, we didn't get the first one that they tried for, because their argument is, you've been doing this for over 50 years,
all right.
that there's, this is not harmful to the environment. This has been proven over time, and so hopefully we paid them much less than what was allocated originally right now,
Okay.
but they will be rewriting the second, depending on what happens with extension request. If we don't get the exemption, then what they're rewriting will be a lot more, it'll be more than what we currently have.
And does that come back to the select board, or is that handled by,
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, if it's, depending where it goes, if
Yeah.
it's definitely more money, we're talking another town
Right.
meeting warrant and
okay,
looking for funds and,
okay,
and keeping the town administrator busy with that.
yep. Okay, phew. All right.
And we talked about the elevator repair and.
Well, the highway department blanket NOI.
Yep.
So that's working on the elevator repair placard. Town hall, special town meeting.
See, I put the school in there.
Yep. I will get, and litigation, I put on my list, and we did that.
The only, the.
How about the oil at the fire
The
station?
gas,
The gas.
the
I always
gasoline.
call it oil, sorry.
It's
Fi-
okay.
Fire
It is a
station
derivative
gas.
of oil.
Yeah.
If that helps.
Thank you. Fire station, so, that was,
They
we had a
have-
problem from many years ago, right? And it
It
came back.
it reemerged. The test results, okay, so the approach Jeff made when it came back was to identify the perimeter to be able to make a claim that it's not, it's not, an excessive problem, that it's a very limited problem. So we ended up putting in 2 wells at the Valentine's property at the edge of their septic system. And we found, Sam and I located the hidden lost well on the north side of Leverett Road. All 3 were tested in relationship to the fire station's gasoline problem, and they came back negative, so he was able to argue that we are not, that it's a contained, limited amount at this point in time. He submitted that. We don't have the response from DEP yet. We'll be finding that out.
Okay, so that was Jeffrey Arps too?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Jeffrey Arps at Ty and Bond gave after OTO bailed on us and would not respond to a year's worth of pleas to do the next step, Jeffrey Arps at Ty and Bond took over the fire station gasoline project.
So he resubmitted to DEP recommending no action at this time.
Well, he's basically trying to reinstate our temporary solution.
I see.
That's his goal. That's been his objective from day one.
Okay. And the temporary solution involved, would that be like another 5 years before we did testing, or would we have to do testing every year of those
It
test wells?
depends what he writes as a proposal.
Okay,
But it would mean that our annual costs would drop from 40, I think it's 40, it's around 4,500. Which we have to pay now for the first time. And before we were paying under temporary solution, the annual fee is $980. So it's helpful to the town not to have the additional costs.
so, and we have to await word from DEP.
Yes,
And.
or from Jeffrey. They'll contact him.
Right.
And he'll probably let us know faster unless they email us.
Yeah. And with the temporary solution, then we test it periodically. Is that, yeah,
Yeah, but it could go 5 years.
okay. Okay. All right.
Is there anything else?
What about the Army Corps, anything with, about the Army Corps stuff that's going on with that?
They are supposed to be handling about 60 days. The one thing I handed to Mary Ann last week was the $4,300 fee for 66 Leverett Road came to the town of Shutesbury. Army Corps will pay that.
What was, who was that bill from?
DEP, that same annual fee. that
Oh, the
they were-
annual fee.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were
yeah.
directing it to us.
All
They,
right.
they have taken over responsibility, but they haven't done any work yet, so they're
Right.
not getting,
The
DEP
bill.
still sees us as,
So this was contamination at the back of the Lotto 32 that, from the, what was that
there was a
station?
tower,
It was
a-
TVOR tower.
Yeah.
There was a
Air
tower
Force Station.
installed, Gabe,
We did that.
back there in the 40s, and in the 50s, No, it was installed in the 50s, and in the 90s, they came in and tried to remove it. They did not follow DEP guidelines. When we cleaned it up ahead of the library project, when we cleaned up the front, we had that area cleaned up
We had to
and
test it.
tested after we cleaned it up, and there was gasoline in it. But it's not a lot.
So they've taken over responsibility
Yeah.
though, and there's a PIP,
They're the PIP.
No, a public involvement
Or
plan.
involvement, I was gonna say information
Public
plan.
involvement. So there's a PIP that first the town did,
Right.
and then
Now
it's been
they've got
taken over by the
half
Army
the
Corps.
other.
So Mary Ann's really, she's been the liaison pretty much with the Army Corps, yeah.
Well, I was for the first year and a half.
Okay.
I made the first big argument.
Yes.
What about the
Take
update on, to change the subject, what about the update on the EV charger thing at the library? You know anything about, do we know anything about that update? Is it happening or not happening, or?
Livingstone? Was it
Yeah.
Livingston?
Yeah.
It's not happening. We had that
Okay.
last meeting we had was with Energy Committee. I don't know if I didn't think the library was moving ahead on that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I just wanted to just.
That
wonder.
they're not moving ahead.
Not moving ahead, because that was the supercharger, the $300,000
Right.
charger.
But I thought
Well,
we
they ended up
signed
doing
off on
things-
something that was free, that we were
It
gonna
was
get all
free,
this
but
stuff
then we
free.
ended up having to pay, but I think it
Oh,
was
for
Eric to
maintenance?
figure
Yeah,
out. we
well,
had to
if it
pay-
broke down.
They're
it
broke.
broke down, or the annual
Okay.
software.
Okay.
No, I think we were okay on
Update.
operational for 5 years.
Yeah, I think it's
sure.
okay
Yeah,
for
but it
a
was
while.
after
then
that.
eventually-
It was
But
after.
what happens if it breaks? You got
Right.
this $300,000 piece of equipment,
Well,
Right.
parts aren't cheap.
Somebody drives into it. Crashes into
Right.
it.
Hopefully you'll have a cement barrier around it, but, you know, who knows?
Um,
So that's we're just let that just, where you know that, as far as you know, that's just dissipated.
Yeah, I did not hear,
Yeah.
I brought it up a number
Okay.
of times and was consistently being told, there's a problem with that.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, good stuff.
And I just had one other sort of closeout question. Are we all closed out with our ARPA money and any reporting that needs to be done?
There was something
Okay,
that the
what
fire
has to
station
be
was supposed
done by the end of this year is
Yeah.
all the money has to be spent.
Okay, and how much do we have left?
I believe we have spent it all, but I will,
Did Lenny ever
Pull
put
those
that
reports.
fan system?
Yes, he
in?
did.
He did put it in, okay.
So you think we've spent, will you let us know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then is there a closeout report that has to be done, or?
I'm sure there will be, but I don't
Okay.
know,
All right,
I don't know the details on that. at this
Okay.
point.
that's good, we spent all the money, so does that, we were kind of keeping track, so, okay.
And just some very basic questions I have is like, say someone walks in town hall and wants trash bags. That's pretty.
They're in the hall closet.
But I mean, is it a
So-
book or something? I mean, I don't know.
No, there's not a book. There is a book, the book is on the desk in front of me, and it has every residence by street listed there. So when people come to get their free bags, we check them out of the book.
Right.
The effort to, the miscellaneous bags we used to track, nobody tabulated what we were tracking, so we just take the money and put it in the box and count the money.
And the
And
money is $25 or
$20,
$20 for 10
$20.
bags.
$20 for levered tickets, levered transfer station tickets, and $20 for a roll of trash bags.
And who's been handling that here?
The counting of the cash has been the responsibility of the admin secretary, so I've done it a few times.
And then actually just handing them out, so Abby's aware of the trash bag thing?
She is, but I didn't have Abby doing it yet because she was just learning everything else. I think I had her do it a couple times.
Okay.
So she knows where the book is. She knows that if people come for the free ones, we can only give them 3 at this time of the year.
What happens if someone moves into their house? Does he only get?
Like, you mean
the
like
rest
in
of the
a
year?
house,
Like,
if you got your trash bags
say
and then you
bought
sold
a
your house,
Or, well, you bought your
Yeah.
house, let's say you bought your house.
you bought a house now.
Yeah.
Do
And
the old
and they
people?
don't have bags left behind because they've cleaned their house out. What does the new person do?
I always
Just-
check and see, you know, if the prior resident had taken the bags, because usually what happens, they pick up all their bags, they use up all their bags, and the new person is left
Right,
with nothing.
Nothing,
Right.
right.
So if that's the case, you know, if it depends, I'm discretionary on that one.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
just
that
curious.
if,
yeah.
depending what time of the year it is, if it's July or August and they've got a whole year to go, I'll give them some free bags to get going and welcome them to town.
I was hoping you were gonna say, hey, you have to buy your 52 bags.
And just to follow up on a real old piece of stuff, there were some old minutes that you did a bunch of them. Do we do all those, or, you know? that ever
I'm
happen?
afraid I have that list. I have not gone through it. I can't tell you at this moment
Where we stand.
where we
with
stand. We
minutes.
got a lot of them done, and I believe the ones that, you know, because Geneva came back, and when she came back, she found some that she hadn't turned
I
over
did notice,
before.
I was looking for something, and I did notice we don't have anything posted on our website for most of July through now for the select board website.
Okay, I will follow up with Grace.
Oh, so she has all those minutes, maybe she just didn't put them up?
She's been back,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
with her flow has just been
okay.
a problem.
I want to make sure that's the right quote, the one wasn't.
And basic question, free cash has been certified now, right? Just the other day, just got certified.
Was it
Well,
$1 million?
Just in our mail, is our email.
It came in as $1 million
I thought the first
today.
number I saw was like 600,000.
Yes. And I almost
So it wasn't-
threw up.
I wasn't hallucinating. I
You
said, wait a
weren't
second,
hallucinating.
how did it go from 600 to $1 million? Right.
Yeah,
See what
July,
happens
August,
if,
not July and August to now.
August to now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened?
so what happened was, I got all my municipal small bridge grant reporting done in September. And DOT said, you're good to go, sign off, it'll be allocated. And then we have a brand new DOR rep that's working with the town, not very familiar with Chapter 90 or anything else, and he didn't give us credit for $372,000.
Wow,
I had quite a,
Yeah,
good thing
right.
my hair's white,
Yeah,
it
right.
helps
Right.
when you get white 3 or 4 times a day.
Okay.
But,
That's what happened. All right, I just thought of mine.
yeah, so I got on the phone immediately to Gail. Gail and I reviewed it. I called Chris Bouchard. I got the specifics, because he told me, he said, we deal with this all the time. DOR, you know, if you get it in before the 30th, DOR will always allocate the funds. And then they didn't. But once it was explained and they had sufficient data, and I think they're getting confused too, because with the new Grant Central, you don't have the same forms. But,
Okay, well, that was good news. Million's much nicer than
yeah, I was like,
600,000.
I can't leave with it
Yeah,
being under $1 million. We haven't done that in a long time.
So just to go back to those minutes for a second, so how do we get there? How do we
I
get
think
there?
most of, like Geneva, those are on the admin secretary computer. Well, everything you're talking about, all of those, because you've all approved through,
Yeah.
through October 22nd almost, or the 10th.
Yeah.
so when you say they're on the admin secretary computer, they're not in any central filing system for the town? Like, there's not in the cloud, everything's like just on that computer? Like, where's the backup? Where's the backup for?
Well, the
Yeah.
minutes are filed with, I mean,
Right, with the
yeah.
town clerk, okay,
But I'm saying that the ones that Geneva has done, evidently, after July, she didn't forward any of those when she completed. And I was assuming.
Even
Oh,
after
you
she
did
came
that.
back in?
Yeah, yeah, because if she did those minutes,
Right,
so she didn't forward them on to the town clerk.
okay.
So that
I
will.
think you're also asking a separate question.
I'm asking
You're
a
like,
separate
well,
question too about the
right, right,
documents. How do we back
How
up?
are we backing up our
Yes.
documents?
So we're not
Now,
using OneDrive or anything like that.
I know, not that I'm aware of. We use Google
I have
Drive for the
OneDrive on
select
my
board stuff.
computer, and we have a number of hard drives, but some people, a number of people have been using the OneDrive on their computers.
I mean, it does seem to me that this would be Gabe's job, I would think, that somewhere along the line, I think the town's really gonna have to look at its whole IT thing, and like what it's doing. I mean, how, it seems to, what's the word, disorganized. I mean, there's like, there's like, this guy's on this computer, this is on this computer.
We had a committee formed a long time ago,
Yeah, I remember that.
when they wanted to put in a central
A
brain.
server.
Okay, a server
Mhm,
to everybody.
mhm.
Yeah, like
After
a
they
drive.
explored the costs and everything else, they recommended, and these were IT people, recommended against it for our situation.
How long ago was that?
It was probably 20 years, 15.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so there
Well,
it is.
That was the beginning of the
Yeah.
cloud.
Right.
Right, yeah.
But we are working on backing up everybody to the cloud.
I guess that was my
But
question.
having everything stored at a central location, we were advised against doing that. We got hacked,
Right.
when was
I
that?
remember
When
that.
after, Gabe probably has bad dreams about it.
Yep,
Um,
years ago.
Yeah,
or
Gail's,
Years ago.
yeah. Gail's,
But I
the
think
accountant's computer got hacked.
Things have
Right. So-
changed so much now with the cloud. I mean, the cloud was not, it was maybe just happened 20 years ago. But,
And the whole Vadar system, our whole accounting system is backed up on the cloud.
right.
And
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not for tonight, obviously, but this seems to me that it's a big.
so it has
project.
its, being centralized has its positives and its negatives.
Right.
But as
What do
far
they do
as-
in Orange, Gabe? In
Or-
Orange is,
Okay, I'm unmuted. We use Outlook, and so everything's backed up on Outlook.
okay.
And
So
I
we have a
got-
business Outlook. It's a business Outlook.
Mhm.
Which allows for, I'll say an iDrive, because that's what we've called it, but, it allows for that central filing system from
Right.
Outlook, where everything can be, anyone who has access can go and look, like, so say there
So
could be
if you
a
were like-
select board folder, and
Right.
everything for the select board could be there, and three of us could go in and grab it. We want expense report, we can go in and get the expense report, we can go in and get whatever we wanna look at any time.
So you can have a shared
Drive, yeah,
folder.
shared drive, basically.
And shared folders on your computer, and that's actually what Sunderland has, and it's real simple.
Okay.
But you have to have you have to have that main piece to be able to do that.
Yeah,
So it's something we could transition to?
not,
Not easily?
I think it can be transitioned to, yes.
but at a cost. There might
There's
be.
always, there's a cost if, you want it safe, I think Outlook has some inherent safety in it.
Yep.
Otherwise, the computers can have, a second authenticator where you put in your password and you
Authenticate.
like a duo.
Yep.
And, so someone going into the computer has to do that to their computer, which.
And that gets
has-
problematic with municipalities, because most people don't have a town cell phone, or,
They can call a desk phone. It doesn't have to be on the cell phone. Or you can have an authorization code that you can.
but they've been encouraging the third level. So how would they do that?
I don't know, we use Duo at work for everything we have to go into, we use Duo. So we have it on our cell phones, we have it on our desk phones, so we can choose what we want it to do. And it's pretty simple.
That's just two-factor identification.
Two-factor, yeah, it's like when your bank asks you,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's for getting into your computer,
Yeah,
and there's VPNs involved in all that.
that's
too.
cool, that's a good idea.
It's pretty
Okay.
simple to use.
One other question, do you know if, yeah, I'm not saying we should do this, or should have, right, but Geneva was complaining about not getting paid for the last time, and health bills that didn't get paid that she should have been paid. You saw those emails, right? Bob?
Yeah,
Did anything ever happen with that? Did anything happen with that?
I followed up with Ryan and found out what happened. It really was out of his control.
Right.
Geneva's, and I still need to follow up with Geneva. I haven't gotten that part done, but I reached out to the health insurance and learned from them exactly what happened. It was not Ryan's fault in any way. She filled out, her first day at her new job with the town of Montague, she filled out her health insurance paperwork. They submitted it. Ryan got a phone call telling him he had to discontinue her on the health insurance right then, which he did because he was told by the health insurance provider to do that. I was also told there is no reason she shouldn't be reimbursed, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to offer to follow up on her reimbursement for that, but there, she was covered. There is, that all she has to do is take the bill she paid and submit it to the provider
To our provider.
for reimbursement.
Right.
No, not our
Right,
provider,
their
their
Montague
provider,
provider.
Montague's provider, her current insurance holder.
Okay. And does she know that? Should we be telling her that, or? Yeah.
But I will
It's the same
follow up.
company. Montague is part of Hampshire Group Insurance Trust, I believe.
Yes,
So-
it is. It definitely
she
is. So
just-
that's why, and she was mad because she had asked Ryan what was going to happen before she left. And he told her that he would take her off the insurance at the end of the month,
Right.
which is his common, reasonable practice.
Sure, right,
Montague's practice is not like that,
right.
and they caused the problem, I
Right.
think. What do you think, Gabe?
I don't know. I don't know. It usually is a smooth transition. The sign up goes in and the transfer ends, one town gets dropped and the other one starts it. So I think I don't know, the provider number shouldn't have changed. So I'm guessing here because I don't know the situation. But we owe her a refund. Is that what you're telling me?
No, she was under the new insurance. It was that Friday after she started in Montague. She went to an appointment 2 days after she turned in the paperwork. And when she got there, they said she wasn't covered.
Right. So she just needs to resubmit to
Yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right.
And I remember talking with her about that when it happened. That's what she needed to do.
Well, you saw that letter she wrote. There was
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And what about the pay thing? Was she not paid or something? She thought she wasn't paid or something? I can't remember. I should
When
have
she
read it.
first returned to part-time, when she first returned after she resigned in March, she came back to assist, maybe it was July. And at that point in time, the first check Ryan did, it took out the amount of her health insurance deduction. And so he had to redo that. He reimbursed her that on the next check. So it was, because she had been
Yeah.
a benefited person.
Right.
And so that was a mistake, but understandable
Right.
given the transition, and he corrected it, right?
Okay. I just want to make sure she's not leaving us with a bad taste in her mouth, basically, like, we aren't paying, and I just, that letter was like,
there
whoa.
were, on the warrant, there were checks for her, for work.
There was time sheets, yeah,
Yeah.
time submissions.
Are you
On
talking
this
about
list that we
The
just
last
signed.
ones.
Yeah, there was
Ones
stuff
that
for
were in the
Geneva.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
yeah,
must
so-
have submitted something that
It's
she had
from
done in the
September.
past. Yeah.
She stopped working in September.
Yeah, she did. And, oh, that's kind of funny, because she said that whole letter was about. She has nothing more to submit.
I thought there were, I could be mistaken, but I thought maybe it was from August? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, as long as you'll call her and make sure, just make
Right.
sure.
No,
it
I've
goes
spoken
straight
with
in.
her
Okay,
since then.
okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, I'm good.
all right.
Can we just take?
Oh, the only one question I
Yes.
have, the PAFs, we haven't signed those, and I don't think anyone received them.
Personnel action forms?
Yes,
Right.
personnel action forms.
You almost done? I think I need a couple more days.
Yeah, really.
Well, last year you put them in a spreadsheet for us. I think we did it in a spreadsheet, that's what I had in mind.
I have the spreadsheet.
I think we voted
But-
it on a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can vote it that way, but they're almost complete. There's like 3/4 complete.
Okay, so Gabe, you're coming in and meeting with Becky tomorrow, and then you'll be in on Tuesday?
I'll be in on Tuesday. Did you guys do an appointment slip to make me official?
We
They
have.
did not.
We did not, but.
So your town, who does your appointment slips? Your town clerk?
We can, I'll do up a PAF for you and have Rita sign it.
Because we took the vote.
Yeah, we took
did,
it.
right.
I'll just
Right.
do up your personal action form. That's our appointment sheet. You
Usually
want
there's-
something?
In a letter?
Usually there's an appointment slip and you swear in at the town clerk.
Well, we
You-
do. We have an appointment package that the admin secretary puts together, and I haven't looked at in a long time. So I think the top, that goes with the PAS when it gets sent out, is the appointment
All
letter.
right, so she can do that on Monday?
No, Monday's all
No,
right.
Tuesday.
The holiday?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
Veterans
Veterans Day.
that's
So
right, I have my
appointments.
grandchildren.
Okay.
Okay.
Gabe,
All right.
I don't have any information about your hiring. I don't know what you're getting paid or anything, but I'd be happy to put that together.
Or can it be
Oh.
done on Tuesday? Or, no?
I'll just tell you tomorrow. We'll just go over it tomorrow. It's getting
All right,
late.
I'll- Gabe,
Yeah, it's
because
getting
it
late,
should
right.
be done,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she would prefer to have it before she starts.
Good point,
Okay,
good point.
Right.
The only other.
You would like her to be appointed before she starts.
Yes.
The only other question I thought was like the handing over keys, computer and everything, because Becky, your last day's on Friday, so what was
Right.
the plan?
We don't have a plan, because we haven't talked yet. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow, Gabe.
Yeah, because I need to get into your email. I need to start checking it every day. I need all your passwords, how to get into the building, the keys, that sort of thing. That's what I thought we were doing tomorrow.
I'm not ready to give up my computer till Friday, or I might go into, or Saturday. And then I will drop it off for you.
You can put it in your office, yep. Oh, wait a minute, I'll have the keys. Just let me know. I'll figure out how to pick it up Friday somehow from you.
Leave it with one of us.
Yeah, I
And
can-
then,
Yeah, I
and
can-
then
yeah.
we could meet you here Tuesday morning.
Yep,
Do you want to do that?
that works for me.
Yeah.
That works better, because I think it'll be, you'll like receiving it better if I don't give it to you tomorrow.
Okay,
But
So you just-
email passwords, if you wanted to start, Gabe, with the email, she can give you the password and you can access it through your home email.
Right.
Until you have the computer.
However you sign in, because I don't know where
Yeah.
yeah, you have to sign in through shutesbury.org, right?
It's a Google account, so.
Oh, it is a
Gmail.
Google,
Yeah.
okay.
Gmail account, so
Shutesbury
it's very,
with a
it's just
Shutesbury,
the
yeah.
password and the
Yeah.
email address.
And where's Gail's computer that she's not using?
It's on Gail's desk.
Okay, are you gonna?
But it's not a laptop, and for me to be able to work from home, I need to be portable.
It is a laptop.
Oh, it is. Okay, I thought you said it was a desktop. Oh, awesome. Okay.
It's even the kind you like.
Surface?
A Dell. It's a Dell. It's a
It's a
Dell
Dell.
laptop.
When was the last time it was turned on and updates run?
Probably a month ago.
Oh, okay. We'll check it out.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Time for
All
pie.
right, hi.
All right.
Coming
Okay.
for pie?
We'll
I
save you
baked
a
a
piece.
pumpkin pie last select board meeting.
She promised us
Rita
pumpkin
brought
pie.
brownies and a pumpkin dessert, which reminded me of my pumpkin pie.
Oh,
So I
yeah, what about
baked-
that pie?
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's here.
So I'll make a motion that
To
we
adjourn?
adjourn.
Okay, sure.
Second,
All those in favor?
Farrell, I.
Make
Stock-
me Sonia.
Stalker,
Make me Sonia, aye.
Thank you very much, Gabe, for
Thanks, Gabe.
coming.
Good night.
See you, good
Bye.
night. See you
Night.
tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.